In this tutorial, we will prepare Digital Performer for scoring our film. We'll add a MIDI track for music, an audio track for sound effects. We'll add markers to hit points in the movie. We'll lock those markers to frames. We'll use the conductor track and some tempo tricks to deduce the tempo between markers so we can have an even phrase of music from one hit point to the next. So first off, let's add some tracks. Okay, I've got my tracks created. Next I want to add markers to hit points in my video. So first I'll open the markers window. And notice there's one section that says lock. We'll use that later to lock our markers to frames regardless of the tempo. So if we choose to make our music go a little faster, the markers will remain in sync with the video and not move earlier or later in time with the tempo. So let's watch a little of the video and see where we want to put markers. Definitely want to put one at the very beginning. So with the counter set at 1, 1, frames at 0, I'll add a marker. I'll lock it to the frame and I'll name it. Let's watch a little video. Okay, there was a cut right there. I think I'd like to mark that with a marker. So let's scroll back a little bit. Play again. And here I can actually cycle through the frames and find the exact frame that the scene is cut and mark that frame. So we'll try just backing up little by little. And I can hold the mouse and scroll. I'm holding the mouse down and I'm just rolling the mouse. It scrolls up frames. So it looks like at 5 seconds, frame 20, that's where the cut is. So I'll add a marker there. Put the padlock there. And if I click on the markers window here, I can jump to those spots. Let's put in one more. Let's put in one where Popeye appears in the frame. So I'm going to go up here, scroll backwards a little bit. Each time I release the mouse, the frame will switch. So I first see Popeye here at 15 seconds, 10th frame. Let's add a marker. Make sure to lock that to the frame. Now I can click to those different spots. Now, notice if I change tempo that the markers will move relative to the bars and beats, but they'll stay locked to these frames. See how they're moving out? So even as my counter goes faster, my frames remain the same. My markers remain locked to the frames. For the next part of this tutorial, I'll match Digital Performer's tempo to locked markers that mark hit points in our video. Another way of saying this, I'll have Digital Performer find a tempo so I can have an exact number of beats happen between one marker and the next. In this sequence, I've recorded a 4-measure MIDI part that I would like to happen from the beginning and end at the point where the gears show up in our video. So let's hear how it's working now. So right now the tempo is too slow, and this piano part, this 4-measure phrase, is ending after the cut. So my goal is to find a tempo that will make the end of this happen exactly on this cut. So first off, I'll set the tempo control to conductor track. I'll rewind to the beginning, and I'll highlight the section of music that I would like to fit between the two markers. So I'll highlight 4 bars. Next, I'll go to my markers window and I'll click the second marker. In other words, I'm clicking the marker where I want my phrase to end. Notice the highlight stays the same, but I've now got this marker in my counter window. I'll need this number later. Next, I'll open Project, Modify Conductor Track, Change Tempo. I can choose to have my tempo gradually accelerate, or I can have it stay at the same tempo throughout. I'll leave it at stay at the same tempo. That's this figure here. Notice also I have frames selected here as the time base. I'm going to use this frames number to calculate my tempo. Next, I'll hit the Options button until I'm able to enter a number in the end time box. So notice here's our measures from 1 to 5. That's the length of our phrase. We want to force it into an exact amount of time. So the start time will be 0. The end time will match our frames here. So I can type it in case it's not already entered. And once I've done that, when I press OK, we see that there's now conductor track information. It shows a tempo of 164.52 beats per minute. And by going at that tempo, my phrase will end. The 4th bar will finish right at the 2nd marker. Let's see what we got. And it's perfectly in sync with the cut.